Here we are again. We're going to do one of these 1969, 70 high bucket back seats, or front seats. Start over again. Here we are again. We're with the Mustang Fastback. We purchased a couple of 1970, 69 or 70 high bucket front seats here that we're needing to recover. You can see it's kind of tore up here pretty good. So we're wanting to recover them. We bought some TMI reupholstery. But what I want to show you is once you take these little covers off the side, okay, the hardest part that I have found is getting this bar here. You take the long one, and if you have a pair of water pump pliers like this, you can kind of get it over there and bend it out in order to get it off of this, and that's a big deal because it's kind of hard to do that. But once you get that off, okay, you just want to go ahead and begin to take the back cover off right here, and I've not done that yet, so let's take a look at that real quick. And I think you just pop these off. So we'll see how this comes off here. Show you here. And maybe I'll spray this here. It looks like it's pretty roughed up, but and here we are in my wife's dining room. Isn't that something? When your wife loves you that much, she'll do whatever she can for you. And we just put a board down on here, but this pops off on the back, and we've got some mice down in here.
No, we better
I'm sure
not.
She's going to be all upset about that.
That's not, is
it? But you see how these clips are. You see how these clips are here, and we'll have to get the hose and get that out, get this suctioned out of here. But what I want to show you is these here. This is the TMI. And right now, I mean, I'm not getting anything to promote this or anything, but right now, CJ Pony has these on for 40% off. So I took advantage of that, and we're going to reupholster these. So all you do is take these here hog rings, cut all them off, and then we'll take a look at the next step. So that's where we are. We'll catch you on a little bit. Well, we've got a little bit of a mouse problem again. As you can see here, I bought these high bucket seats. We've got a old mouse problem. I hope there's no mouse in the back of this. We're going to clean this out. Got all kinds of... It's funny how mice end up getting into these cars. It don't matter whether you have them tightened up or buttoned up or not. They somehow, some way, find a way in. So we got the nest out of here. I'll have to go get my vacuum out, and we'll vacuum this out a little bit. Yeah, gonna be pretty nice when we get her done. But stick with us, okay? Gonna clean up some of this rat debris here, and we'll clean it up again. Some of those nuts and stuff out of here, some of that nest. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to start to take the hog rings off here, and they're kind of a nuisance. Some people try to cut them off. I'm going to try to twist them off. I've had some success with that, so let's see how that works today. I just got some electrical pliers here, and it's kind of tough. I mean, so you just grab a hold of them and twist them, and then you can see. But you got to do that with each one of these. So let me see how I do on a couple of them. And like I said, it's kind of difficult. It's just a matter of twisting them and then pulling them off. And then we'll get this cover off, and we'll see how bad we are underneath. But just really get those off. And then you can pull off here. You kind of see underneath. So let me finish taking these off, and that gives you a little bit of a picture of what needs to be done. I'm going to do a better job. Last time I did one of these seats, we didn't get a chance to really video all of it, the finishing product and stuff. So this time I'm going to try to show the whole process of one of these seats. So I appreciate those who have been with me the last little while back. We're going to put these in the 1966 Mustang Fastback, and we're going to put them in Old Red that we've been working on. For those of you that's been following that, we will be putting these seats in those vehicles. So go back if you haven't looked at those videos. You can check them out. Here again, I'm new at this, but we're trying, and some really neat classic cars. But give me a chance to get the rest of these off here, and then before I peel it all off, I'll tune you back in. Okay, got all them hog rings out. You can see this pulls back, and inside here are some rods. Okay, this slides in. Slides in to help you fasten it back onto the metal of the seat base. So yeah, we'll get them off, but I wanted to show you too, there's some screws down here for these stops that need to be taken out too. But I've got all these off, and inside here the frame looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna show you in a second here. Just what we're dealing with here when we take these off. So hold on another second here. Okay, I think we've got these hog rings off. Yeah, you got some little rods. Now, a lot of times you can take an old coat hanger to replace these, but I'm not sure I have a whole bunch of coat hangers left. So I'm gonna hang on to those as we can reuse them in the new reupholstering cover that we're going to put on. So a lot of times you can cut this off, but just don't forget that when you're doing this, you got to save these parts right here. These are your stops, and then also you've got to take the lever off down here. If you can see that right there, we'll have to take that off. But let's take these off. We'll see just what else we've got behind here, and if I'm going to have to buy new padding too, because a lot of times that's an issue. But we'll see. My wife's going to shoot me because now I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to make a mess here, but she's used to me making messes. Hang on to these pieces here. Yeah, see, this was tore and bad, but you just see how bad this is here. Get some of this stuff off of here. Kind of got to peel it off, as you can see. Oh, that's right. Now we've got some more rods in through here that we got to take and cut inside there. So that might be a little bit of a problem. As you can see, this is going to come off right here. And I do want to save what we got in here. See, here's one of the rods there. And then look back, if you look down in here, you can see there's a rod down in here that goes into this sleeve. And what I'll show you is on the new one, when you look, this is what goes down in there. Those rods slide down into here, and then you got a hook ring these into place, and hook ring these along the back. So that's kind of what you got to do when you're replacing these. But let me get this off, and you'll get to see just what the inside of this looks like here in a minute or two. Ran into a little bit of an issue here, because on the inside here, this is where this was all fastened down onto the little rod down in here. And when I'm peeling that off, see, I've got hook rings up here that I've got to get off. So that's a little bit of an issue, but I'm just going to tear these off so I can get the top off. But anyway, that's kind of what you're going to run into when you're doing these. You can see this one here was pretty bad, but we're almost there where we can get it separated. There we go. So there's the inside of our seat, and if you stick with me here later on, might be a day or two before I get this on, so I'll have to hook ring the new one, roll it down over top, and then hook ring as I go down, and that'll be a little bit of a challenge, but if you stick with me, you'll get to see that. I want to show you something kind of neat here. If you look, you can see the date of this, and of course manufacturer information there as far as what kind of seat cover it is, but this was actually done 8/13/1969, and we're going to be putting this in our 68 car and also in a 66 Mustang. But yeah, it's kind of neat to see some of these things when you start taking the old ones apart. Now for the other seat, you can see this in here was pretty bad. Got to take these stops off, so we'll have to get that stuff off. So we got to save all that stuff, because when you get your reupholstering, none of that stuff comes with unless you order special extra stuff. Okay, so again, this is what we're dealing with, and what we're going to have to do is take those off. We'll have to remove the sliders. You have to remove these sliders on the bottom. Okay, so we'll work on getting some of that stuff all done. You got kind of like a star button here, and then the other one is on this side, so you have to kind of wrench this and pull that forward. Okay, pull that back forward, and then when you do, it'll show you where the other screw is right there. So let me get that started, and then we'll see what this seat looks like when we're finished. Say, make sure when you're doing this, you know where these things connect. Okay, this here onto here, and then just kind of get the layout. These screws were star screws, which for back in 68, 69, that's kind of surprising to me, but you know, you got to work with this a little bit in order to access these. So do keep that in mind. And then once you get this off, then once again, you got all these hog rings here you got to take off. So you get these hog rings here, and watch how this is all tied on, and then you got a hog ring. This is the bottom seat now. So when we do this, you got to make sure these hog rings. And what's kind of cool, here's the seat tag. Kind of neat, you got a seat tag in there. But yeah, I'll take all these off, and we'll see how bad this seat is. Now I think I've already showed you this side. Definitely bad. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to try to buy a new cushion or whether I'll just try to patch that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Normally I'd just buy a new one, but I'm not sure yet. But this here had a hard time getting this off, so I've got to figure out how I'm going to get that off. I'll have to douse it down with some WD-40 maybe, and maybe after the WD-40, maybe I can get it out with a screwdriver or something. But anyway, we'll get back to you in a second. I thought I'd show you a little bit more here. Along this back side, you got to watch how they're fastened on. If you can get a close-up right here, you can see how these are fastened on to here, where these rods here, okay, they slide through your fabric, and they get fastened on to these loops right here. So I know there's lots of people out there. I know I had a hard time finding somebody who was actually doing one of these and explaining it, what they were doing. So that's why I'm taking a little extra time here. But hopefully this is helping you. If it is, I wish you would message me, let me know. Also, share this with maybe somebody that you know that does upholstery. This is something I've never done before, other than one time on my 65 Fastback, we recovered the seats in it. So I'm new at this. And if I can do it, I know you can too. So I do encourage you to give it a shot. It's a little frustrating, a little hard. You need different hook rings. Now I've ordered the tool. A buddy of mine lent me the other hook ring tool that I used for the other seats, and he's out of town. So I went ahead and ordered me a set of hook rings and a new tool to be able to do that. So it's not going to be here for a couple days, so I'm going to have to wait on that. But I thought I would show this and get it prepped up and ready to go, so that when I do get the tool, then I can just go ahead and start putting these back together again. Here comes the moment of truth here. I've just cut around this seal here. We'll see how bad this looks. I know we're going to have some issues, but let's just take a look here. What we're caught on right. Oh, I see what we're caught on right there. You don't see that, but see one of the pins. See the pin there? Mm-hmm. That's the problem when you're trying to put a new one back on too. Then the other thing I want to show you. Usually there's if you look down in here, I know it's hard to see, but usually there's a rod down there. You have to attach that rod. So I'm going to have to cut this side around this thing here. Again, you got those pins that the back sets on. Yeah, see right here. See, here's your rod. The rod is tucked down in here. It usually slides through here, and then you got to hook ring that when you put your new one on, which is rather difficult. You'll get to see that. You'll get to see that when we put the new one on, but right now we'll get this one off. And see how bad our underneath portion here is. Looks like they might have glued that on there. Never seen them do that before. That's new. That's actually just from sweating, I bet. You know how the rear end sweats, especially sitting on leather. One thing about it, they used good quality material back in the day. I'm just hoping these the TMI stuff is as good as this old stuff was. But you can see here what I'll be dealing with when it comes to putting the new one on. I'm gonna have to get that loosened up there. What I want to do is, I have some stuff that we've taken out of another seat, and I think what I'm going to do is put this in here. I'll fashion a little bit, fill that in, and I'm going to put this in there. That'll give me a little more cushion from my buttocks. You know, when my buttocks is driving these cars any distance, I'll have a little cushion in there. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave this off. Tune in with me next time, and we'll see how to recover these and make them look new again.